Hello there, Stevos. Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to be going through this week's movie reviews that I've done. There's only two movies that I've watched on streaming this week. So without further ado, let's have a look and see what movies I've watched this week in this week's episode of the Movie Wrap-Up. You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap-Up, episode 78, right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. The first movie we'll be reviewing in this episode is Fixed. So we're starting off this week's episode of the Movie Wrap-Up with the movie Fixed, which I gave 1.5 stars over on Letterboxd. Fixed is a recently released Netflix original movie that has appeared on Netflix. Didn't know about this movie until about a month or so prior to its streaming release. Now this does somewhat remind me of a live-action movie that came out about 2 years ago that featured talking dogs, and the movie I'm referring to here is Strays, which released in 2023. I think I may have seen that movie twice, but Fixed, on the other hand, though, is a 2D animated movie, and before parents decide to sit their children in front of the TV or tablet and stick this movie on, because after all it is an animated movie, I just want to point this out now. This movie is indeed not for children by any means, so if you are an adult and you have children, definitely don't put this one on while they are about. Best to put the kids to bed first before you watch this, as this movie is indeed an adult animated comedy. So, what did I think of Fixed? Well, the animation is somewhat decent, and it is very rare when we see a movie these days done in 2D form, particularly an adult animated comedy movie as well. There is a few humorous moments throughout the running time, which did get a few sniggers from me. We also see Idris Elba and Catherine Hayne lend their voices in this 2D animated comedy as well. The story is pretty plain and simple. It's just about a dog who is quite a horny dog and ends up getting his balls chopped off, but before he has the procedure, he has one last night of freedom, and so hits the town with the rest of the dogs to have the last set of passion before the surgery the next day. Of course, with this being an adult animated comedy, expect a lot of sex talk in this movie, expect a lot of explicit language as well, so this is why I did mention that this movie wouldn't be ideal for the kids to watch. The running time is rather simple, clocking in at 1 hour 26 minutes long. I was looking forward to seeing this one, but while I did laugh at a few things within this movie, but it wasn't as funny as I was hoping it would have been. Therefore, I can't see me going back and revisiting or rewatching this one again. However, if you are a fan of animated comedy, particularly adult animated comedy, then I do recommend giving this a watch, even if it is just the once and once only. But the movie Fixed is now streaming on Netflix worldwide. Smurfs. And the final movie I've watched this week is the movie Smurfs, which I gave a much more lower score than I did with Fixed. I gave it 0.5 star over on Letterboxd. Now, Smurfs is a movie that the children can indeed watch. However, though, would I class this as a movie that more older children should watch? No, definitely not. Let them watch a Disney movie instead of watching this. However, though, if you have a child who is around a preschool age, then I recommend putting this one on for them, because I think this is the right target audience for this movie for sure. For me, I had to sit through this brain rot of a movie for the entire running time, and yeah, this movie isn't great at all. It does have some weird animation art style to the film. It kind of has a blend of 2D animation mixed in with 3D animation a little. The script/dialogue for me was just rather bland and boring, and also there was these odd moments throughout the movie where they would randomly drop a musical number, and it was just odd and didn't fit the scene perfectly at all. They have some live action sequences in here, and again, it just doesn't fit at all. Saying that though, I don't know whether they were trying to pay homage to the Smurfs movies we had in the early 2010s. But for this film, it just didn't work at all. The running time for this movie is 1 hour 30 minutes, so it is an easy watch for the kids, but not an easy watch for the adults, because it does feel like it's running time, and at times does feel slightly longer than the running time itself. Also, Chris Miller is the director behind this movie, and Rihanna, Nick Offerman and James Corden lend their voices in this film as well. I swear to God, when James Corden is in any movie, it always seems to be really bad. When he appeared in Cats, the movie in 2019, that wasn't great at all. He also appeared in another animated movie titled The Emoji Movie, and again, that wasn't great either. And his performance in this wasn't great either. I think James Corden needs to stick to his talk show, carpool karaoke, and just taking in the success of Gavin and Stacey, because I think that is the only successful thing he has ever appeared in. Also, the fact that James Corden is a Smurf called No Name as well is rather comical in my opinion. There was a sequence towards the final act of the film with various styles of animation, which I did find fun, to be honest, but I think that is the only fun that I did have with this movie. I don't see me revisiting or rewatching this Smurfs movie at all, and I don't recommend him watching this movie at all unless you have a very young child and you are being forced to watch this, and sure, give this a watch, but for me, it was terrible. Smurfs is currently in UK cinemas and is also available on digital platforms over in the US. And that is all the movies I have watched this week. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. By the way, I will be back next week with another episode of the movie wrap-up, so feel free to check that out then. I am going to be talking about the movie Together next week. Fingers crossed, if I do get time next week, I should also be talking about another couple of movies as well. Hopefully Nobody 2, I should be discussing about that. And also I'll be discussing Freakier Friday as well, which is the sequel to I think it was the 2003 Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, and I've not even seen the original Freaky Friday, the one that came out, well, technically 2003 is a remake of one that came out in the 70s that starred Jodie Foster, but again, I've not even seen that one, so I've never seen Freaky Friday, but I'm going to go and see the sequel to Freaky Friday from 2003. Anyway, so those are the movies that I will be discussing, and if I do watch any movies next week on streaming or across the next week on streaming, then of course I'll talk about them as well in my next episode of the movie wrap-up. But thank you all for watching though. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys have been watching this week in terms of movies, whether it's old, new, cinemas, streaming, VHS, Blu-ray, DVD, 4K Ultra. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys have been watching in terms of movies this week. And as always, if you are new around here and you like what you see, then feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Stevo. I'll be back on Monday the 18th of August 2025, 4 PM UK time, with my next episode of Steve's weekly vlog. Until then though, it's goodbye, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again in my next YouTube video.